Hey guys, welcome back to our Talkback. I'm Killian. I played the old man. I don't even remember.
Mr. Stevenson.
Mr. Stevenson. Yes, Mr. Stevenson. Yeah, played Mr. Stevenson.
I'm Riley. I played unnamed first man character, the information, and the caller from Western Union.
I'm Jazmine. I played George, the chief operator, and woman.
And I am Vikki. I directed it. So originally, Sorry Wrong Number was a radio play performed in the 40s, and it was written by Lucille Fletcher. And what's cool about her is not only did she write, this radio play and a couple of other works, but some of her work was also in The Twilight Zone, like the very famous Hitchhiker episode. She worked on that. She also worked on a libretto for Wuthering Heights, with her husband, ironically, was finished after they got divorced. But yeah, she was a really awesome writer for screenplays and radio plays. Yeah, so Lucille Fletcher worked on this radio play, and it was actually a very famous radio play at the time that was done a lot, and was also adapted into a full-length movie that came out, I think maybe like 1948 or early 50s, and yeah, her work's around a lot.
Wow, I didn't know any of that shit. Actor does their research, huh? So, Vikki, question: why did you do the gender changes?
To be honest, originally what I wanted, this was done by a cast of 4 people, as you can probably tell, and there were a ton of different characters. And originally, I was thinking of having one of the 2 female cast members we have, Riley or Jazmine, to play that role. And then what was funny is when I was casting it, I asked everyone, what accents, you can do, what weird noises can you do to, help me cast it. And it turns out Jazmine can do, as you can probably heard in this, a bajillion frickin' accents. So I was like, alright, so I can't cast her as Mrs. Stevens, because I need someone who can do a ton of different roles in a small cast. And so yeah, then anyway I decided, okay, well, Killian would be great for Mrs. Stevens, now Mr. Stevens. And then yeah, I thought it would be a fun challenge just because, okay, Killian and I have known each other for basically 5 years now, and sometimes...
My condolences.
Yeah, I deserve condolences for that. But anyway, a lot of the times he would do an old man voice as a joke, and so I thought it would be fun for him to play this old man, just straight, no humor or anything with that. So I thought it would be a fun acting challenge for him.
And absolutely ravish his throat for 30 minutes straight.
Yeah, pretty much.
I thought you changed it to a man because the character's so unlikable that I was like, okay, I'd rather have a man be like this than a woman.
Oh god, that was the other thing, is honestly, props to this cast, because I need to be honest, no fault to Lucille Fletcher. A lot of her other work is really great, but the first time I read this play, I was like, the main character is so incredibly unlikable that when she gets killed at the end, it's like, alright, finally someone murdered this character.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Stop trying to call.
She's the world's worst Karen.
And there was a lot, to be honest, like I said, I wasn't really the biggest... God, I don't know if I should say this or not. I was not the biggest fan of the script when I first read it, which is also kind of why I wanted to sort of direct it, because I was like, okay, I'm not a fan of the script, so let me see if there's a way to, make this, and this is just my opinion on it, to make it, good, or at least at a point where I like it. So honestly, as a cast, being able to do that was amazing.
Also, it was good to lean into the cheesiness.
Yeah.
Oh, completely. We made a choice, too. Because this was a play from the late 40s, early 50s, I didn't want to try to modernize it. I wanted it to keep it in that style, which is why you hear a couple of different transatlantic accents throughout the whole thing too, because that's what they kind of talked about back then. I mean, I can give like a little history of the transatlantic accent for anyone who doesn't know what it is, if anyone wants.
Nah, pass.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write you a dissertation on the transatlantic dialect. Meanwhile, Jazmine's over here just like, I'm gonna read through this like magazine.
But yeah, I mean,
And cut.
Yeah, it's just there. It was an interesting show. For me, the weird thing about doing this was, Vikki was like, Killian, you're gonna play Mr. Stevens, formerly Mrs. Stevens, and I was like, oh, cool. And then I actually read it. Full disclosure, I read it 5 minutes before we had the first meeting, or the first run through of it. And I was looking through it and I was like, oh, it's all Mr. Stevens.
yeah.
And like, oh god, it's just the hard thing for me about it was like, it's just a monologue. It's just Mr. Stevens talking to himself and being the least likable person. Like, he is in his heart Mitch McConnell. Like,
Completely. Oh, I work in retail basically, and like I definitely dealt with a ton of Mr. Stevensons and Mrs. Stevensons.
Too many.
I think at one point I described Mrs. Stevenson as the very first Karen, and I still stand by that.
yeah, no, she's the character's just the worst. Constantly threatening to like talk to managers and call the police on people and like browbeating, like it's just like the worst character.
I mean, I can't just trace a call of my own free will. I want to know what everyone's up to.
I guess then a good question for Killian then is how do you find, with a character so incredibly unlikable, how do you find like the humanity of it? You know what I mean? Not just like
Because he doesn't know that he's unlikable. He
Yeah.
thinks everything he's doing is justified. And so you like, it's with playing any character that is just like a shithead or a shitheel.
OPOV, let's go.
Yeah, you really just have to be like, I am perfectly fine. I'm fine. I'm not an asshole. And that's sort of how you have to go about doing it.
Cool.
And so, like, it's not... Like, I can't justify a single thing that he does the entire time, because he sucks. But what I can do is make it... So as I'm saying it, he's internally justifying everything. And I think the most telling line in the whole thing is when he says, I'm a sick old man. I'm entitled. And, like, delivering that line is the hardest for me every time, because I just want to laugh.
It's the boomer mantra.
It really is. It really is just like his screaming, I'm entitled, old man shakes fist at sky, like.
Yeah.
And so here comes the part of the thing where we talk about vaguely related things.
Personal experiences.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, have you... yeah.
You, the audience, have you ever overheard something that you shouldn't have overheard? Or discovered something that you shouldn't have heard?
Or, conversely, have you ever partaken in a murder?
Like, comment,
Yeah.
subscribe, let us know if
Have
you've
you
ever
ever-
killed someone.
Have you ever murdered an old invalid man?
We'll be attaching a Google form
Hello.
in the show notes, so
Yeah.
Yep,
please fill it out. Let us know if you've ever killed anyone.
Yeah.
yeah.
I have, but I'm not supposed to talk about it.
I mean, that was part of the court hearing.
Oh!
Yeah. Why do you think she was great as the lawyer?
I just love... Oh!
You know, in reaction to Jazmine sitting next to me flipping through a magazine, confessing to murder.
Yeah.
Oh!
It was just like how
You never
abrupt
know
that
when
O
I'm
was,
telling
and
you.
it like never went. It
I
didn't
really
go
don't
anywhere.
know.
It was so good. Yeah, no. So I think this is the second time on a human pincushion related podcast that I have mentioned this. When I was younger, I and there are several of my friends and I routinely would break into, there's this like government facility.
It's confessing time, guys.
Yeah.
In my hometown there was this place called Farmdale, and it is this like little fucking government reserve for it's like a protected state park sort of thing. And it used to be that you could go and you could swim in the rivers and stuff in Farmdale, and you can't anymore because in the 50s they detected radiation in the water. I don't know where it came from, but they did. And then the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers came in and built this like dam, this like dam sort of thing, and then put a hutch on the top of it, and they have it locked with a padlock. And my friends and I, being delinquents, decided that the first thing that needed to happen was we needed to go and break open the hutch and see what was inside of the hutch.
I'm so glad we have burdened the audience of this episode with all of our sins.
Yeah.
By the way, if you heard any of our early podcasts, you've heard Killian say this story.
Yeah.
We went out with a crowbar and we ripped open the door and we went in, and the thing that like was the most disconcerting was that there was this like there were two hatches on the floor, one that went into like an empty tank, and then the other one that was just like a metal staircase or a metal ladder going down into like this abyss that you couldn't see the bottom of. And then on one side, because there was like a little light bulb in the middle, just like the hanging like 60 watt or 40 watt light bulb, and we turned it on, and on one side there was a table and there were two phones on it, and they were like old school rotary phones, and one of them was like a normal phone, and then there was a box, and we opened the box and that was the second phone, and it was like the red call the president phone. And we were like, we saw that and we were like, I don't know what is happening here, but we certainly know that we shouldn't be here, because any place that has a red call the president phone, you probably just shouldn't be there.
And now you know the backstory of Stranger Things 2. Aren't you so glad you listened to this podcast?
Yes. Riley,
Side note, so this dog is God?
God! Oh my god!
Well, yeah, that's how you spell his name backward.
Oh. Okay. Go ahead.
Jazmine's reading Spawn now.
We've
Riley.
all lost the plot.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah. What's happening? Who are you?
Give me the magazine.
This is
about
not my
vaginas.
house. This is
Riley,
not
do you have
my
any
beautiful life.
stories?
Everything good.
No,
Sorry.
actually, I've broken into places, but none of them are government-led, so...
Yeah.
I will take care of the company while you're in jail.
Y'all, we can't leave this in.
I mean, I was
We can
like,
leave it in.
You
I
can
was-
leave part of your story in, but this
like,
is chaos.
You might be lying. Who knows?
Oh yeah, you should have started off with like, this is definitely a lie and I'm lying and none of it is true.
Yeah.
So this is a crate. I don't know if I should do this
That's
or
actually
not.
one of my ideas.
what story is it? How is it this crazy?
I want something.
Well, I was gonna talk about the time
If we had
my
some
boss
kind of
died,
somewhere.
and
Whatever
then
it is we choose.
what happened
Explain.
was...
What was
I
that,
just-
Vikki?
Vikki
let's
killed
see,
someone.
My boss died, but then what happened was he
Oh.
had this insurance money that like me and another friend had to take care of, and so we put sunglasses on him, and like we had to like travel him around.
Weekend at Bernie's, y'all.
Yeah, like you're just
We-
telling
we
the
had
story
to-
of Weekend at
I
Bernie's.
think I've heard
It happened
this
on a
before.
weekend, yeah.
You, hey Vikki, you've lied to me for the last time. God damn it, Vikki.
It's like I feel it's going off of the rails hard.
I mean, I think part of the reason is because, like, trying to find anything about this that, like, we can relate to is really
almost
difficult because
impossible.
nobody here is super old. Nobody here grew up in
Has
the
anyone
40s.
been on the Queensboro Bridge? They mentioned that in the flag.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was there once. I dumped somebody's body off of it.
Good
Shit!
God!
Oh, I was selling drugs like under it.
But
Oh, you're from my boss.
you were the person who screamed after the body went off.
Yeah. And then I got over it and I was like, well, people die.
Wow, you
I
guys
knew
knew
you
each
seemed
other before
familiar.
you met.
Yeah.
It's-
Oh, it was destiny.
Serendipity.
Wow.
Who's your favorite actor, Riley? And or Jazmine, but Jazmine seems to be like just real deep into that book.
I
Just
don't
finding out
know.
whether or not she can survive
Ooh.
a horror film.
Wait, can I say mine?
No.
Well, shit.
Yeah, who's your favorite actor?
Toni Collette, honestly.
Oh, I mean, she is slaps. She's so good. Yeah, no, that's a really good choice.
Yeah.
No, I've never really thought of my favorite actor. I'm gonna try to say things that are actually related to the radio play now.
Okay.
So.
Wait, so it's a radio play?
So this, doing this play was interesting for me because I don't think I've ever, like, on stage played, like, multiple characters in one show. So trying to do that and find the differences between them and make them all very kind of, like, distinct people with just my voice was incredibly difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since I can't really do a transatlantic accent and just turned into British. But yeah, I think that was kind of a fun challenge for me, is finding all these different ways that I could play these very short snippets of characters and make them sound very different.
You did a good job. Both of you guys really did a good job
Well, thanks.
with, like,
I like this book.
It's a great book.
Jazmine's chief operator voice, I could hear her do that character all day.
Oh, completely.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing, is...
The way you said police every time made me fucking die. It was incredible.
Yeah, honestly, like I said at the beginning of this, I was really lucky in that this cast was great. You know, and they made sure, for the people who were playing multiple characters, like, there was distinctions between them, and... Yeah, I mean, honestly, they were great.
I could listen to a radio play with only Jazmine's chief operator voice and
Completely.
Tim's sergeant voice.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, only those two
Oh.
characters for the whole thing, and I would be totally fine.
So what you're saying
That could be
is...
written.
What you're saying is the last 5 years with them. Could you imagine that?
Yes.
No.
I could.
I can't do the voice.
Oh,
but you
it
know
would.
what I mean.
I can imagine it, and it shouldn't be done.
Can I borrow this?
Yes, you can.
Giving me
Oh no, my Kit Kat.
stuff.
Okay, so now I guess we'll start wrapping up. Let's plug the stuff that we need to plug.
Yeah.
So Jazmine, do you want to plug your latest film project?
Oh my god, yeah.
Yes.
You guys.
Yeah.
So, we have a film coming out at the end of this month. It's called Under Control. I wrote it with Riley. And we're both in it as well. Directed by Jenna... What's her last name?
Brady.
Jenna
Shit. Braley. Jenna Braley, sorry.
Brady.
Brady.
Like Brady Bunch.
Oh, Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch. So, yes, please. Last Saturday of the month, which is Halloween. It comes out Halloween. Please, watch
It's
it.
gonna be so lit. It's like a week from now. You're gonna love it.
Yeah. I was on set the whole time. It's gonna be really good.
It's cool, yeah.
Jazmine gave a fucking stellar performance in the lead role. And Vikki gave as normal groundbreaking performance as a corpse, and Riley as a stoned best friend is like, who are you gonna call?
Also,
I did
we
no
need to
character
plug-
work. That's just me
Ghostbusters.
on screen.
We need to plug the best actor in that, Gracie.
Gracie the
deserves
dog.
a lot.
Oh.
That dog, listen. The
She
moment
upstaged me. I'm sorry.
the moment I met that dog,
A little, but like it was
I
worth
fell in
it.
love. Yeah. Oh, Gracie, best dog ever. Yeah.
You know what they say: never work with children and never work with animals.
They do
Gracie
say that.
is the exception.
Gracie is the exception. You should
Yeah.
always work with Gracie.
Oh, if anybody has a child they want to be in a horror movie.
Put them in a crate and send them to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
Make
right.
sure there's
Make sure
horror
there's
with a
whole-
child.
All
Yeah,
right,
make
all
sure
right.
there's
Follow us on Instagram at Human Pincushions Productions. Follow us on YouTube. Also, we are Human Pincushion Productions.
You said that already?
Don't send us children. Thanks.
All right, and send your children to P.O. Box.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.